today we are going to talk about shift pivot number 4, lead generation, how to find the motivated. And I'm so excited because today our panelists are Nicki Banucci, David Giambruno, and Arjun Ayyer. These guys have really been impressive across the board when it comes to lead generation and getting business, and all three of them are pretty creative. So not to put too much pressure on you guys, but I wanted to go ahead and just jump right in and talk about what you guys are doing for lead gen, what you're finding out there, how you're getting current business, because, right now, what we're really focusing on is doing the care calls and checking in on our database. So let's start with Nicki. Nicki, what kind of things would you like to share with us today?
I'm pretty much doing what everyone's been talking about with the care calls. I never thought about it as a care call. It's just following up with your sphere. Mm-hmm. But it's such a good time to not bring up real estate because I'm totally that person that will call my sphere and I go straight to real estate. I don't ask them about their kids because I honestly just don't care.
Oh,
so that's, I don't care about their dog or anything, I want to know if I can help them and I move on, where that's different than most people. And
right.
They get all the fluff. But now this is my time. I can just only be there for them and say, how are you guys? I just wanted to pick your brain. And everyone always brings up real estate on their own. So I don't even have to. And I just say I'm not asking about that. I just wanted to see how you guys are doing and everyone's at home and how's your job? Because if there is a problem with their job and they're going to lose it, then maybe they are going to have to sell in a couple months and maybe move somewhere else. If they can't stay here in this, and I need to know about that first. I don't want to find out about it later. So yeah, that's just what I'm working on.
Yeah, I love it, right? Because, when you do call them and you ask them about what's going on in their life, they're used to hearing from you, aren't they?
Well, not as often as I should, but yeah.
All right. But what's really cool is that, when you are connecting right now, it is important to connect emotionally. And that's what you're doing. And so, this whole thing is about finding the motivated. So being able to, when they say that they lost their job or they're concerned about that, it's kind of, do you put a little note down in your notes, or what do you do from there?
I do. I mean, if they're going to be an actual lead, I have a leads list. So it'll be a separate call. Otherwise, it just goes into my contacts notes about when I called them and what conversation we had. So I'm calling the low hanging fruit first that may actually turn into something. I'm not just going in alphabetical order. So I want my first calls to be the most impactful. And then it's a big list. So even my team knows when I'm calling, it's not going to be a 5-minute conversation, which it normally is. It could be an hour conversation because they need to talk, or everyone's turning into an alcoholic because they're sitting at home all day. And so you're getting a whole different conversation from people.
I know, right? And I did see something where alcohol sales have increased 55%.
I'm not surprised.
Right, David? Did you see that too?
Yeah, that's just in my house alone.
I know. I thought, who's monitoring me? But yeah, that's great, Nicki. And how many do you have in your database?
Kylie, how many do I have in my database? I want to say it's a solid 400. It's many more, but a lot of people I'm not going to call because they might just be a vendor or, it's a extended people that I don't really know, but I'd say a solid 400, 450.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Thank you. So David, now what about you? Looking so fancy there with the brick wall background.
Yeah, that's $10 from Amazon.
I love it. I love it.
So, and we should actually do some, later down the line, we should do some Zoom conference calls on how to set up your video studio or whatever you want, because it's really inexpensive to do. But we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I'm taking the note down on that.
I have a lot of stuff I wanted to share. So Edith, feel free to reel me in and kind of, tell me to shut up when it's time. But I was thinking a lot about this because we just came out of a really hot market, right? And in a hot market, average agents look like rock stars. Right. Right. And so Mike Tyson has a saying that says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So, and really that's what happened, right? I mean, we all got, sucker punched a couple of weeks ago, and you really have to ask yourself, through this and coming out of this, what type of agent do I want to become? It's really an opportunity to reinvent your business, your persona, everything, your focus. It's not just a shift in our market, it can be a shift in you as well.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you said that.
Right. And so, and for all of us, it doesn't matter if you were a top producer or if you hadn't sold a deal all year or whatever, you can emerge from this and really gain market share. And I think you mentioned this the other day, Edith, is this is where fortunes are made. Mm-hmm. Right. And so for agents, this is an opportunity to gain market share. And really a lot of that, I'm going to talk about lead generation, but also cultivating relationships, right? Like Nicki said, I don't normally ask about how the kids are doing, but I'm asking now because cultivating those relationships are going to ensure that we have transactions coming out of this. So, cultivate today and conquer tomorrow. That's something I heard on another call. And, I have that written down because I'm like Nicki. I don't always care about the kids. Right. I care about, right. But if I cultivate those relationships, I ask, what were your kids' names again? And that sort of thing. I write it down. It's in my database. I can remember that going forward.
Right.
All right. So all that said, when we got sucker punched 3 or 4 weeks ago, it put us all on the defense, right? Mm-hmm. We were fearful, uncertain, and we started, where can I cut costs, right? Mm-hmm. Get rid of that assistant or, cut subscriptions and things like that. I'm not going to spend any money advertising. And it put us on the defense. But we know that in order to close transactions, we have to be on the offense, right? In order to grow our database, we have to be on the offense. So I want to encourage everybody on the call or whatever we're calling them today, to start playing offense as well as defense, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we're starting now. That's the shift we're doing now, mm-hmm. right? With mm-hmm. all of the masterminds leading up to that, now we're going on the offense.
Yeah, we got to play offense. I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather was always a hustler. He was in real estate. And he told me something when I was really young, and it stuck with me to this day. There's plenty of money lying around. You just need to know how to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And so, hopefully with the three of us on the panel today, we can show you guys some ways to pick it up. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you, and I've got three, and we can kind of go back and forth between the panelists. But one of the things I wanted to share with you today is just like we're doing Zoom video conferencing, you guys should be recording video and getting it out there like there was no tomorrow, right? We all have the technology. We bought the fancy phone. We've got some lighting and microphones and things like that. We should be sharing video content almost every single day. And I'll give you an example why. For those of you that have been doing video for a while, myself included, I had a lady come up to me in a grocery store right before the shelter in place started. And she's like, "Hey, aren't you in real estate? Because I've seen your videos everywhere." And so I liken it to this, right? So we all have our entertainers or professionals that we follow online, right? Maybe it's Oprah Winfrey or The Rock or Justin Bieber or whoever it is. Don't you feel like you know them, even though you've never mm-hmm. actually met them? Mm-hmm. And if you saw them on the street, you'd walk up to The Rock and be like, "Oh, that video you did with your baby and this and that." And they're like, "I don't know you." But that's how I think we need to position ourselves in this, because Facebook usage, just like alcohol consumption, is up over 50% globally. And so now is your opportunity to get your message out there. Something I heard on a call this morning. So when you video versus, like, say, an email or a text message, people tend to only remember 10% of what they read, but mm-hmm. they'll remember 90+% of what they see and hear in a video. Right. So even, so what I'm doing is I use BombBomb for my videos, and I'm doing personal BombBomb videos for a lot of people in my database, just check in, right? Because it's a way for me to get in front of them faster. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I don't have the time to do the hour conversation, right? But I want to let them know that I'm thinking about them. So I get a whiteboard with their name on it, right? And I record that and I send it over, and I can crank out 50 of those in a day, just to kind of stay top of mind. So they're seeing me.
Yeah, that's so awesome when you're talking about, video, that they really do, the people who are watching it really do feel like they know you. So
Mhm.
there's an agent in Keller Williams who she taught a class, Karen Carr, on how to do videos and how it affects her business. And she said, just like you, she was in a grocery store and someone was so excited because she was a celebrity and
Right.
they felt like they knew her. And then when they asked her, they told her they needed to sell their home, they were like, will you help me? So it's like no longer was she trying to get the business.
Mhm.
Business was starting to come to her. And it sounds like that's what you have,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about.
Right. And the other byproduct of the environment that we're in is that a lot of businesses are pulling back and they're not advertising as much on Facebook. So it's actually cheaper now. So my advertising costs on Facebook have gone down 19%. And so what that means is I can get a larger audience for the same price. I was helping a lender out last week. We recorded a video together. He's never pushed anything out on Facebook. For $2.50 a day, he was able to expose that video to 1,500 people per day.
Wow.
So we just spent $10. He got 5,000 more video views, and he's starting to build his brand. So it's not super expensive. And look, we're deferring a lot of stuff right now. I just got I got my car payment pushed out for 2 months just because they had a button on their website that says, hey, you want to push it out? So sure, why not? So now I can use that money and invest it in my business, right? So I'm looking at it that way. So I'm looking where I can cut costs and then double down on lead generation and branding.
That's
so
awesome.
I would encourage you guys, and if you need help, I'll put my cell phone number and email address in the chat. You guys can reach out to me. I'm happy to spend some time with you and kind of show you how to get some ads out, how to get some video out. Because seriously, I think content right now is huge in how you can gain market share going forward.
That is so awesome, David. Yeah, please put your number down and don't be surprised if you get inundated.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, because I'm also going to post this on YouTube. It's for our office that has a link, but just so that everybody who's not able to be here can actually see this video. So Arjun. So now, every time I walk by you, you are cranking the calls, you're going at it. So, what's your thoughts and approach to doing your lead gen right now?
Yeah, so I don't have the credentials and accolades like David and Nicki just yet, but you have just yet, that's right. But I do have a foundation of just prospecting, because that's just how I was brought up in the business. So, I think obviously we're in unique times right now. So I've really converted my lead generating into outreach instead, kind of like everyone's talking about. And, I am business driven, but I actually do care about my clients, and people who know me know that I love, I'm a happy guy and I love, having conversations with people. So I do ask about the kids just normally. But I've found that, I've categorized my clients A, B, and C, right? And so I've started with the A clients, and I've really honestly just not even talking about real estate like everyone's talking about, just outreach. Like, hey, I know we're in unprecedented times right now. What can I do to help you? Do you need any life needs, groceries, medicine, whatever the heck I can do? I'm here, I'm available, I'm healthy, I'm close by. And I've found a lot of it's been warm responses back. So I'm just trying to come from contribution. And I was reading the chapter in here in preparation to this, and Gary Keller said the first principle of lead generation messaging is that your message must match your market, right? And why would they want to contact you in this market, right? So coming from contribution, typically, not always, but sometimes it'll lead to real estate, because they're like, oh, what's going on in the market, right? And so it's just kind of getting your foot into the door, and then you're right, like nurturing the conversation to direct it to where you want it to go, right? Which is real estate, and then immediate business or future business. So yeah, I mean,
I'm curious. I'm
yeah.
curious then, right? So like you have, you've offered help to the phone calls that you're doing, right? Like, how can I be of assistance? Do you need anything? Has anybody taken you up on like, I need groceries, or I need, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I wish someone would, because I actually mean it. Like, I'm serious. I do want to help. No one has yet. And I was actually thinking, like, maybe I should just go do something. So what I did actually is I knew 3 prospects that I'm trying to convert into clients. I don't mean to say try. I just finished Bold, so I'm like, I still got that.
Will convert.
Yeah. So I know 3 of them they had some health issues or some family issues. So I went and bought some flowers, got some cards, and physically went to each of their doors and dropped it off.
Aww.
So, and I haven't heard a response yet, but when I follow up, I know for a fact, right, it's going to be mentioned. And if not, it makes me feel good, right? That like I was able to do something that hopefully brightened up someone's day. So to answer your question, no one's taken me up, but I've found that it's an opportunity, like David was saying, and it's kind of, it goes with my personality as it is. So
that's awesome. So when you make your phone calls, your clients, your database, they're already used to that personality that you have. So when you're calling, it's very warm and welcoming for you.
Exactly. And I started with text messages, because text messages with the C, B clients, and with the A clients I'm calling, right? But I found people are really open or receptive to text right now. I mean, I know they are generally. It's a crazy statistic, like 90+% people, respond to text messages. But I've found that texting, that, like, I have a script for it. It's like, hey, if you have any life needs, right? Like, I'm just blasting those texts out. You got to be careful, right? If you don't know somebody, they're like, who the hell is this guy? Like,
right.
So I will preface it like it's a 2-second advantage, right? It's the framing. It's like, I'm saying something before they get back to me, right? So I'm saying, hey, I know you don't know me, right? Hey, I know this is out of the blue, but I know we're in interesting times. We all got to stick together. Is there anything I can do to help, right? Is you give them that, hey, I know you don't know me. They're like, okay, cool. This guy knows that,
Right. So stating the obvious up front means,
exactly.
And so it's like being open and honest so that they don't feel like you're trying to slide in under something.
Yeah.
You're just being like, this is obviously, you don't know me.
Yeah.
The good.
I'm being authentic. Yeah.
Right.
But it's true. Like, it really is true. And it really is to who I am. So, and you'd be surprised at the responses. Like, they'll remember you. And I've spoke to some of these leads like once, maybe, or twice. I'm like, hey, this is Arjun. We spoke at this time. I know you don't know me, but this is, I'm here to reach out. And so you get some more responses.
Right. That's so awesome. Thank you. And I do like the fact that you had mentioned scripts. That that you do have scripts that you use, and a lot of people I have found have been kind of averse to using a script. So just real quickly, you use scripts, right, Arjun?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just like everyone else, right? Like, I think like, well, you just want to flow with the conversation, and that's the truth. But it's just like they say, it's like you memorize and then internalize, right? So you can use it. You can grab from your toolbox anytime you want. So it's not that you're scripted. It's just them so well that depending on where the conversation flows, you can utilize that toolbox, right? So I've got several questions. I've got things that I routinely say and use.
I love that. That's so awesome, because what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing a script practice. Everybody and anybody who wants to participate is welcome. So I'm going to start doing that on Monday. So thank you for that. Nicki, do you use scripts?
I do, but I try to just internalize them. And I mean, I think when any of us go through the Mike Ferry and the Keller Williams script training, they're all pretty much the same. So now it's just natural when people say, anything, and they ask about real estate, I'll go, how do you like living in this house? If you could move somewhere else, where would that be? And when would that be? And, just the next, and they're, oh, I'll die in this house. Well, when will that be?
I love it. Well, okay. You know when? Well, you know, I love it, right? Because it's so internalized in you that it's not even really a script anymore. It's just how you respond or how you lead, right?
Yeah, but it definitely helps because, as you know, I'm a talker and I get way off tangent, and what should be a 2-sentence thing turns into, you know, a 5-minute ramble. And so it helps to practice scripts and go, okay, let's take this way down.
That's awesome. Thank you. David, do you use scripts in your business?
Yeah. So, I mean, just like the other two had mentioned, there's certain, not so much scripts, but certain keywords that I use. There's a book, it's called Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. And it's, I mean, there's just nugget after nugget after nugget of things that you can drop into your conversation, because we all want to be authentic and be ourselves. But there are certainly, there's some key words that you can use, right? Tie downs and things like that to get the client to think about, you know, what their motivations are. I was reading in the Shift book in that chapter that says, you know, you can't motivate somebody right now, right? Everybody has their own motivations, right? Whether it's, you know, health or fear or money, whatever, but you can aid them, you know, to kind of see what's coming up next for them and help them out in that way. So yeah, I mean, I certainly, there's certainly keywords that I drop into all of my conversations.
I love that. Thank you so much. So anybody else in the group, is anybody here using scripts in their phone calls? Want to raise your hand?
Scott?
Oh, Scott. Yeah. I was sorry. I was looking for the little blue hand.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, I'm literally raising my hand. So I'm like you guys. I do the Tom Ferry scripts and do the Keller Williams scripts as well. And it's exactly right. You memorize them. You memorize them. And then when you use them, typically you kind of put them into your own words, and you just it sounds a little bit more natural, like your own speaking, rather than just if you would like to buy a house, you know, it's not reading off the script. And so I kind of ad lib it a little bit, because I take a little bit of this, I take a little bit of that, and I make Scott Perry out.
Right. Like Arjun was saying, right? Like you learn the scripts, you practice the scripts, and you internalize them. And then, like Nicki and David were also confirming, is that, you know, it just comes out that way now, because you know what it is that you want to say, you know the direction you want the conversation to lead, right? So I love that. Thank you.
And I'm very interested in participating in your script group.
Awesome. I'm going to send out
the first one to sign up.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I love it. I'm going to send out some information on that today. So, you know, David, oh, I'm sorry, Judith, you've raised your hand.
Yes, I'm curious. First of all, guys, you are rock stars. I love everything you do in your particular way. David, by the way, I'm a stalker. I look at everything you put out there. I'm like, oh my God, this guy rocks.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good.
It's really, but my question would be, what do you do on your second or third round, right? Like when this all started 3 weeks ago, I don't have a huge database, but I did reach out to everybody to make sure that they're okay, Then my second round was to send some content. Now I feel like I'm out of ideas how to reach out. Can you help with that?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I'll take a stab at that. So, you know, like Arjun mentioned, you know, he's got that passion to help people, right? And it's a great feeling when you know that you can help somebody. So why not take that conversation a little bit deeper? So for me, I'm passionate about other small business owners. Everyone's struggling right now. So what I'm asking my sphere or clients when I'm talking to them is, you know, after they say that they're healthy and great, they don't need anything. And then I just tell them, hey, I'm passionate about other small businesses. Do you know any other small business owners that might need help? Whether it's marketing, getting the word out, things like that, because it serves two purposes. One, it gets them thinking of other people and that they'll be able to help indirectly through me, but also it's allowing me to meet other small business owners that I know are hurting and need help right now. And those are the same small business owners that sponsored little league teams and softball teams in the past. And now I know they need our help more than ever. But third, and it's kind of self-serving as well, because I get to build my video content library with their stories, right? Their tips and things like that. And so for those of you that are kind of following me socially, I'm getting ready to roll out a whole video series where I interview a lot of these small business owners. So from restaurants, right? Like, where'd you get the recipes from? Was it your parents? Where'd they immigrate from? The stories behind that. Or from painters, like, hey, everybody's stuck at home. They're tired of looking at the colors of their walls. What are 3 do-it-yourself tips from a professional painter that they can use, right? Or one I'm trying to do right now is how to cut your own hair. So, but like,
oh no,
right?
You can try it on me if you want. I need one bad.
Yeah, but if I could get my barber guy to do a quick tutorial, and I can put that out, because it does 2 things. I can push it out to my base, and then he pushes it out to his base, and then they see that it was right. And then, oh, well, hey, who's that David guy? So I'm always looking to leverage, right, and other people's databases in any market, and this is a great way to do it. Interview your CPA or bookkeeper, whoever. I mean, we all know those people that need exposure right now, that may not have the tools, haven't done Zoom recordings, aren't savvy on Facebook. So let's help them out. And the byproduct of that is kind of helping your business and your brand grow as well.
I love that, David, because what you're doing is like you're building community, right? And it's like the more you help others, the more you help yourself, right? Yeah, so sure. It's very, very smart of you to be doing that. And it's very big-hearted as well. And I'm looking forward to that video series. That's going to be really fun. Yeah. And I love that, and I believe that your small business owners, they're going to really get a lot of value out of that. And then talk about loyalty being built, right? That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Susanna, you've got I'm sorry. Did you want to say one more thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents real quick. So Judith, I got a question for you. So this is how I operate. This is the framework I operate from. Why would a prospect, or why would a client, why should they choose to work with you, right? I always ask that question myself, like, why me? There's tens of thousands of agents, why me? So not only do I care, but I'm going to be the smartest person in the room, right? I'm going to have the most knowledge about my market. I'm going to know the stats. I'm going to know everything about what you want to know about, right? If you convey that knowledge with every phone call, with every interaction, if you're thinking about how can I give this person value, they're going to gravitate towards you. So you ask, like, what's the next thing I do? Yeah. Well, find out what they're interested in regarding real estate. Are they buyers? Are they potential sellers? Right. And then get a narrow focus onto that and do some research, and then convey that value on the next phone call. Right?
I love that, Arjun, because, yesterday Aaron Kaufman spoke about, about Keller Williams, but the reason I bring that up is because, Simon Sinek did a TED Talk called The Golden Circle, and he talks about having the why in the center of the circles, right? So I love that, your why are you doing it? And that's all about, Keller Williams philosophy, right? What is your big why? So thank you for embodying that. Judith, did you get what you needed? Oh, I'm sorry, Nicki, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just want to jump in with one more thing. The one thing I'm seeing more than ever in this crazy time is the negativity that's out there. Everyone's, the naysayers and the doomsdayers, and they just want to complain. And I don't want to hear it, but I also don't want to feed into it. And I try to be like the voice of optimism that life still goes on. We have no control over what's happening in the country, but we can control how much we're limiting the exposure, how much we're, all of that. And so for people to even hear that life still goes on and real estate is still happening, grocery shopping is still happening, and toilet paper isn't, out, there is washcloths, people, you can just get in your shower. You know what I mean? Like, there's still all good to be found in every like doomsday situation. So just to be there, and when people are like, oh yeah, the sky is falling, just to be like, it's okay, right? You're not dead yet. So how can I help?
I love it. I love it, Nicki, right? It's like you totally have control of your mindset. And that's what a leader does, is that they take control of their mindset and they know what it is that they have control over, what it is that they don't have control over. And then by you being solid in knowing who you are and what you want to talk about, you allow your person on the other side of the call to like relax a little bit too, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
good job. Great job. Thank you for sharing that. I saw that Susanna had her hand up. Susanna,
Yeah.
did you get your
Yeah.
message?
Yes, hi. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what David said. I love that, David, that series. I can't wait to see it. I actually had it on my list as well. And I don't know if I picked it up from a podcast, as I've been really kind of investing in myself, doing podcasts and Zoom calls and all of this. And one of the things that they said is do either a live Facebook, a live Instagram call with a small business, or do a Zoom call, record it, and then send it out on social media, basically asking all the right questions to this. Let's say it's a restaurant owner. Like, what does your economy look like? What's happening right now? How can we help? And maybe you can even offer an incentive for people to visit and buy a gift certificate or something, or even order a meal from that restaurant and say, hey, you know what? If you buy 2 entrees, you get a free appetizer, that kind of thing. So that was super cool. I can't remember exactly where I sourced it from, but it is on my list because I was planning on doing that as well.
That's awesome. David, what do you think about those suggestions?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm actually, you'll see it if I get to it this week. There was another group that I'm in, and they put out essentially a COVID 2020 coloring book for kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool because this was my height, my weight. This is what my, you'll see it. I'll send it out. But anyway, I'm going to do it as a contest. So, all they have to do is complete one or more of the pages, post a picture of it, tag me or whatever. And then I'm going to raffle off a couple of gift cards for local businesses. The one thing, to Susanna's point, I thought about that too, about having small businesses offer a discount. If they say, hey, I saw Susanna's video, I get a free appetizer. I'm leaning away from that only because they need every dime that they can. But if they're willing to do it, great. But it's not something that I'm asking for kind of upfront, because I know that every penny matters to their family and their employees right now. But to Susanna's point, it is a great idea. Get in front of all those small business owners. I mean, anybody that you've ever interacted with as a vendor or partner, now's the time to get back in touch with them and see what you can do to help.
That's awesome. Kate. Thank you, David. Kate.
Yeah, I was actually one of my friends who owns a restaurant sent out a text message with a coupon for 25% off to his restaurant. I actually posted it on Facebook, but that's a great point, both David and Susanna, that giving any incentive for these businesses to bring people in right now is crucial. So I think I'm probably gonna ask him to shoot a video as well. Just to push it forward. He's doing fine, but they do have employees that obviously are not going to be able to, have as many hours or make enough money. We're starting a platform for my friend's startup that's going to be promoting restaurant owners, streaming music and so on. And anyways, the majority of the profits from advertisements are going to be going into charitable organizations that fund the restaurant employees, the people that are laid off or people that are obviously cut hours. So that's like another initiative. But yeah, but definitely promote whatever you can, and whether it's an email or Facebook post or a video, which is awesome. I think that's even better. Obviously that gets out there, it gets more exposure. But yeah, all great ideas. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
That's awesome, Kate. Thanks so much. So, we, during this time, the message and the method are very important, right? So I want to ask you, Nicki, what is the main message that you have going out right now?
Well, for me, it's life goes on. I don't have anything bad to report. I'm healthy. My kids are healthy. I mean, I know 2 people with coronavirus, and thank goodness they're not going to die from it. They're just, quarantined and just powering through. So that's it. I don't want to hear all the negative. Yes, it exists. I just want to stay positive because nothing good comes from bitching.
Right. Exactly. Right. And I really do love that, because there's a lot of people who need to be reminded of that and mindset. You're a leader, you're successful, your mindset, it's obvious, right? It's wonderful. Thank you. Arjun, what is your message that you're putting out there?
My message is that no matter the conditions in the market, I'm here to be your counsel, and I'm here to guide you through whatever situation we're in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just the bottom line. Yeah.
Thank you. David, your message.
Yeah. So I would say that it's courage and compassion conquers all, right? So courage to get through these difficult times, compassion with your neighbors and one another. You know, we're going to get through this. And so, you know, those two things I think really are the cornerstone of the message that I'm trying to convey, right? That if we can be kind to one another, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but if you can be kind to one another, and if you have the courage, right? If you're an agent, you know, these are tough times. So the courage to get off of the couch and actually turn off the TV and prospect for a little while or reach out to some people, you know, we're going to get through this. So I would say those two things.
That's awesome. And then the other part of the message is the method. So, you know, one of the things that you've done beyond the phone call is the videos. How else are you getting your message out there?
Yeah, I've got one pretty cool tip I want to share with you guys that it worked pretty well in the past, and I have a feeling it's going to work very well right now. We're testing it out currently. For those of you that have buyers, we know that there's a lot of sellers that want to sell, but they're waiting for this to blow over, right? You know, they're waiting for shelter in place, or they're waiting for, you know, whatever the reason is, they're not selling right this second. So we're sending out urgent need letters to potential sellers. So for instance, if I have a buyer, or, you know, if I've got a buyer and I know that they want 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, price range around $1.5 million, 1,600 square feet in Willow Glen. I'm pulling that farm, and we're doing a custom urgent need letter, you know, that basically says, hey, we understand this is difficult times and a lot of uncertainty. You know, that said, we're still going above and beyond for our buyers, you know, Jen and Mike Miller, you know, that still want to purchase during this time. If you're thinking about selling anytime this year, you know, we would love an opportunity to speak with you. We might be able to facilitate kind of a virtual transaction where you don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that people are worrying about. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
But we had a lot of success in the past. Out of every 250 to 300 letters we send out, we get 4 to 5 phone calls.
That's awesome. And that's prior to the
That's prior
filter,
to, right?
Okay.
And now I think there's more people sitting, you know, at home saying, I'm going to wait to sell until later. So let's reach them now. Right. And so seller leads are always the hardest to get, you know, and kind of the holy grail, and what we want listings to last. And so those urgent need letters, I think, are going to be critical moving forward. So if you guys want a sample of my urgent need letter, just send me an email, and I'm happy to share that with you guys too.
That's awesome. So now, did I hear you say that they haven't gone out yet and they're going to go out? Is that it? Or have you sent them out already?
So we sent our first batch out, but I've got about a half dozen like serious buyers. So, you know, we're kind of deploying those letters to some different areas. So, and there's companies like Reps that are still working and operating that you can go through. But I would say, you know, it's not free, you know, so you got to look at your budget. But if you can hit between, you know, 200 to 400 homes on a mailing, I think you guys will see some success.
That's awesome. So that just brings up, like, you know, the Keller Williams philosophy of red light, green light, right? Like, you look at something and if it does not bring you a return on investment, you do a red light until you could see there is a return on investment, right? So for you doing your direct mailing, that for sure is a green light, because you have seen return on investment.
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And then just real quick, back to Facebook. I know with Command, there's ways to do Facebook ads right now where you can do lead generation. I would encourage you guys to try it out. It's not that expensive. I'm sure Connor and Brian and the marketing team, Chris, can help with that. But if you record a video, use Command, put it out there on Facebook, you know, you'd be amazed at the exposure you can get for just a little bit of money.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I see Jessica, you know, she's nodding like, yes, yes. Connor and Chris could totally help. So that's wonderful. Thank you. Did anybody want to ask any questions at this point? Oh, so Jelaine is saying that they have classes for Facebook ads, and I know that we're building up a library of recorded videos. So Jess, where would they find those videos?
So they're on our YouTube channel first and foremost. So I can definitely share that link in the chat so that everybody has it.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Susanna, you have your hand up. Is that a new question, or is that from the last time?
Sorry, that was an old one.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So now, you know, right now it is in the lead generation, right? There's like prospecting, and then there's marketing, right? Prospecting is going out to the ship. Did you guys like the quote that I put there for you, right? If your ship doesn't come in, you swim out to it. That's why I thought of you guys. So, you know, prospecting is going out to the ship, right? And marketing is attracting the business, right? So, you know, who wants to talk about that first? Like Nicki, are you doing anything that's like marketing, or are you just doing prospecting right now?
I always do. I don't want to call it a drip because it's very specific, but we have our same every 2 weeks. We send something out to the whole sphere that talks about what's happening in the market. And then the next 2 weeks is just some active listings within Keller Williams. And then we try to include something long distance for people that are looking for investment property or vacation home. So we'll hit up people in Florida or Hawaii or Mexico or whatever. And we're like, hey, check out these places in Cabo, just to help with other realtor referrals, because if we're asking them what they want to promote for free, then they'll ask the same of us, and it helps with that. But just sending, I don't want to say it's sending junk, because to me it doesn't mean anything, but to people out there, they're like, oh, is that what's happening in the market? They may not even be paying attention, but there are so many people that are looking, and they're like, oh, I really like that you sent this, and they may not be looking, but they are keeping me at the front of their mind. So I know we don't send very much by mail, just because I'm a cheapskate. I want to do things as cheap as possible, low cost.
Hey, red light, green light.
Exactly. But we did work with a vendor of ours, which is my favorite carpet cleaner. And we said, we're going to send something out that just kind of shows proof of business, but on the back side of the flyer can be like a coupon for having your, you know, couch steam cleaned or whatever. So he said, yes, they love it. It was our expense. We didn't ask him to pay anything because we we're going to mail it out anyway. And we're just reaching out to him now to see if he got any business, but it just shows it's not all about me, but it's about, you know, here's a coupon if you case, you know, this is our top vendor of the month or whatever.
I love that, right? And because it does have to do with their home, it's about real estate. And so it sounds like you've got like a 33 touch program, and that's part of your direct mailing piece. And it shows,
we're trying to get to 36 because now it's 36 touch. So
yeah. And so that's right. It's 36. And so, you know, it's also putting you as a real estate expert. So I love that. Yeah. Thank you. Arjun, do you have anything specific about marketing that you're doing?
You know what? I could learn a lot from David and Nicki and probably everyone from this group. I'm not a marketing kind of guy. So I need to, it's funny. Kate was just telling me I need to get on social more. So, I need to break out of my comfort zone. And it's funny. I mean, I'm a millennial, but I'm like an old school millennial. I'm just not. See, this limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs.
We need to have a conversation.
With your personality, you need to be on social for sure.
Yes, that's right, Marilla. So yeah, and you know what, Arjun, thank you for being, you know, vulnerable and saying that, right? Because, you know, you're representative of the majority of the people in our office. And, you know, and so by you saying that, it just acknowledges the reality of where a lot of people are at. And, you know, and it also helps to, you know, kind of showcase Nicki and David on the success that they've created because of the work that they've done, and, you know, and the time and the energy. So, you know, this is that, thank you for saying that. And, you know, you will. So you were selected because I see success in you.
Oh, you're so
Yeah,
sweet.
so it's just a matter of time. Okay,
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Just a matter of time. David, I know that you had said that there were like 3 things that you wanted to talk about and share with us specifically. Did we get to number 3?
Yeah, the third one was the urgent need letter.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I really think for generating some seller opportunities, if it's in your budget, test it out. Maybe just try, be truthful. If you don't have a buyer, don't farm an area. But I mean, if there's a if there's a condo complex or something where you have a buyer that's interested, I would say test it out, right? Even if it's just I like a bigger sample size, but even if it's just 100 people in a community, I would definitely say try it out. And then as we're doing this, I'm getting a lot of requests for content and stuff. So I put my YouTube page on there.
Perfect.
I'm starting to build that out. So I'm going to add a bunch of videos to there. So you guys will have that kind of repository to see what I'm doing. So you don't have to track me on different social platforms, and, borrow any of those ideas and make them your own, please.
That's awesome, right? Because it's like, if everybody goes ahead and they they borrow, right? What is it? Duplicate and
R&D, rip off and duplicate.
That's right. R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? The thing to remember is that each one of us has success in our business when we become truly authentic in who we are, right? So even though you do something that, David has done or Arjun has done or Nicki has done, if you do it from your authentic self, it's going to be different, right? And your database is different from who they have as their database. So, that's the way to do it. And that's why Keller Williams is all about, standing on the shoulders of giants and having our top producing agents share with us how they've got their success. So we've got a few minutes left. Does anybody want to ask any questions? Raise your hand. Susanna?
Yeah, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment on a marketing. What I did as an email blast is I sent out the SIP survival guide to family, friends, and clients. And I think I got the greatest response to that. I personalized it because I've been doing a lot of those activities that were there. Mm-hmm. And so I personalized it, and the response was unbelievable. Almost everyone I sent it to actually responded back. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to say something or ask a question? Because this is a mastermind. This is your opportunity. Morella.
I had a really good response with text messages, actually. And it triggered me because I got one from Kathleen. And I was like, oh my gosh, why aren't I sending these right now? And then rather than going through my just contacts from real estate, I went up from the top of the list and I started going and just checking on everyone. And I heard from people who I hadn't talked to in a long time. And so it was a great reconnector, and also finding out how they really are, what's going on with them, because I've been wondering what's going on with everybody. But I also found that I couldn't do too many at once because I really wanted to focus on the conversation with each person. So, I did 3, and it took me an hour to go back and forth with these people. So, I think it's a great way to do it, and you can just start from the top and just keep going, and you can interject, but whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that's
Morella.
Oh, anyways.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? And you guys remember, real estate is about relationships until it's about real estate, right? And that's how come this is a really great opportunity to really build and nurture those relationships. So Nicki, I apologize. I interrupted you. What did you go to Paramount?
No, I said nice artwork, Morella.
Sorry. Oh, that is a real,
Oh, you guys have the same.
Great minds think alike. What can I tell you?
That's right. Great minds think alike.
Let me just share this little nugget.
Just don't tell them
sellers that don't take their stuff out of their house. You can acquire it. So I got that print and a couple others.
Look at my artwork.
I'm willing to die for this shit.
Nice, Arjun.
That's great, Arjun. That's really
Arjun,
good.
you need to get on social media today.
That's it. That's your social media post right there.
I love
TikTok, baby.
I
You're
love
a TikTok material for sure, dude.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to say something? So Sophie, do you want to speak? Want to share?
Sure. That I had a quick conversation yesterday and picked up 2 potential buyers. So
awesome.
Yeah, I sent out the video that David was, David is the one that actually inspired me to do a bio video. But, right now, shelter in place, we can do a professional one. So I just did one for 1 minute, and I just sending out every single person, on Facebook. And 2 people, had they asked, what's the price for your condo? And that's just a light bulb go, And instead, right away, I say, why? Are you looking to sell in this market that you own a condo, or are you looking to buy? And that's where the conversation started. And I say, can we just hop on the call really quick? And both of them turned into a 1-hour phone call.
That's wonderful. Congratulations, Sophie.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly how it works, right? Arjun, did you say something? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said great job, Sophie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so, with the productivity coaching team, we're doing the lead gen. Well, it's called CARE calls, the I Care campaign. And so they're getting leads as they're going along because, as you guys were saying, it just naturally leads to real estate, right? The conversation just naturally leads there. So Nicki, winding up, what's the last few words you want to say?
The pressure. Oh my gosh.
No, you know what? You can even talk about like anything, right? Like, I think that having this forum for everybody to hear what your thoughts are, it doesn't have to be anything profound.
That's okay. I always have something profound. Well, I do have to do a shout out to Arjun because he's my inspiration, where my team has to stay on my tail constantly to make my phone calls. And Arjun is such a go getter. I love that he was going to be on this panel with us because, you have to just keep making the calls and putting stuff out there. I mean, my biggest source of business is just I don't pay for Zillow or anything like that, but just to have presence online. So if someone looks at my name or looks up realtor, I hopefully will show somewhere. And then if they do click on me, I don't want to show that I only know 3 people on LinkedIn or I've never done a Twitter thing. And it may not even matter, but to show that there's something out there and I look like the expert. And then the calls do come, it takes some time, but.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nicki.
I love Arjun. I mean, David too, but.
You too. I love
yeah.
you too.
Well, yeah, we love David too, but Arjun, I'm just kidding.
But Arjun really motivates me because he's always optimistic and happy and smile on his face. It's what I need to, when I'm feeling, because we all feel grumpy and we all can get sucked into this, and to find the motivation wherever it comes from. I do the Mike Ferry Motivational Monday. It comes to me by email, and just to reread those. And now I have Abby on my team has a whole list of them that we can grab at any time and post it on social media. But just to read them, it just makes you feel really good to have them all in a row and just read 10 of them each day and
Absolutely.
go, okay, let's go get them,
Right? Absolutely. You feed your mindset every day. I love that, Nicki. Thank you so much.
You're a killer, Nicki.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Arjun, you wanna say any last words before we?
I guess I'll piggyback off of Nicki a little bit. I guess my last words would be rituals. I think, a lot of this is just, not a lot of it, everything is mindset. And I've really used this quarantine time to work on my rituals, and that's in turn working on myself, right? So I have morning rituals and I have an evening ritual. And contrary, I haven't had a drink in 43 days. It's the longest I've ever gone, ever. So, it feels really good. And I'm just using this time to work on myself, So I would say, practice your scripts and know your shit and just get out of your comfort zone.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Totally, dude.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And David, what would you like to say?
it's hard not to get overwhelmed. You know, it's easy, like Nicki was talking about, you know, there's so much negativity out there. It's easy to sit on your couch and watch CNN or Fox News or wherever you get your information from. And it's paralyzing, right? If you feed into that too much. So even if it's just 30 minutes or an hour a day, make some phone, do something, just do something, right? I'm begging everybody on here, just call 10 people, just baby steps, right? And then the last thing, because a lot of us agents want to be perfectionists and have a tendency to second guess everything. I would say that done is better than perfect, right? A lot of times I'll do a video or send something out and, you know, I could sit there for another 3 hours and nitpick and try to make it perfect, but let me just get it out. Let me just get it out and I can improve on the next one. So, you know, I'd encourage you guys, done is better than perfect in anything. You know, don't think you have to have your scripts down 100% before you start making calls. Just start making calls and read scripts along the way, right? You'll get better as you go in all things. So
I want to piggyback on what David said. That is perfect. And I totally agree. And that was a big fault of mine when I started real estate. My old broker would say, Nicki, you're constantly sharpening your axe, but you're never swinging it and cutting down the tree. And it was so true. I'm like, oh, I got to work on my listing presentation. I got to reread all these contracts so I really know them. Oh, I got to study the market. But I never picked up the call and like brought in the business because I want to make sure everything is perfect. But I never was swinging the axe. So stop sharpening all the time and just start swinging.
I love it, you guys. That's so wonderful because, you know, it's like once we know and expect that our first time we do anything is not going to be perfect, it really does release some of that pressure, right? So it's like, if you fail, you're going to learn how to do it better, but at least you're doing the action because it doesn't matter what your plans are unless you do the action so that you can get results. So Nicki, David, Arjun, thank you so much for being the panelists today. There was a lot of excitement and energy like I knew that there would be. And thank you everybody for participating in this mastermind. You have made it so fun and so exciting and I'm loving doing this. So on Thursday, the next one is about capturing the lead, right? So it's lead conversion. So today's lead generation, finding the motivated. Thursday is capturing the lead. If any of you guys have any particular agent that you want me to invite as a panelist on any of the 12 tactics, let me know and I'll reach out to them. And everybody go out, make your care calls, find the motivated, and have a beautiful day. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Edith.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
Edith. Be
Bye,
positive.
guys.